Thank you, Flo, and thanks a lot for the invite. It's great to be back in a place like this and with so many people that you're all passionate about this topic. And to start about, I'm one of those 1/3 that come from outside the UK. Luckily enough, I work in Vodafone Group, but they let me live in Madrid. That is, I think you will agree, one of the best cities in the world. And talking about the UK and Spain, the other day you beat us in Eurovision. You came second, we came third. It was quite tight. But I'll make a prediction that we're going to beat you in the UEFA Champions League final, because Real Madrid is going to beat Liverpool. And the good thing is I'm sure many of you will support Real Madrid, knowing that you have a big competition between all clubs here in the UK. But leaving football aside, that I think is one of our passions in both countries, we're going to talk about location insights. And to be honest, location insights has been a vertical proposition that has struggled in the last 2 years, because in reality, we sell a set of services that analyze mobility, but in the last 2 years, due to the pandemic, we've all been under lockdowns. So it has been really complicated to sell services about mobility when most people have been locked down at home. We all agree that our phone is part of our lives, is part even of our body. I'm not going to give examples of how many places we go with a mobile phone, but in reality, it's attached to us almost every minute during the day. And we have to say that we do not use the data exactly coming from the phone, same as other players could do. We use data or metadata coming from our antennas, and that's why also from a privacy perspective, the permissions that are managed are a bit different. I was reading the other day that one of the biggest companies in the world, they track about 450 touch points from our mobile devices on a daily basis. We don't use that kind of data that much. We use more the metadata coming from our antennas. But in reality, if you analyze metadata coming from the mobile device, you have a really good representation of how we move and what we do during the day. In reality, we collect the data, as I was mentioning, mainly from our antennas. So it's a bit of a different use case. Data coming from 3G, 4G, 5G, lots of different geolocated events. And then we applied a set of big data processes and algorithms to generate insights out of those. We use technologies mainly like PySpark and Scala to do all this. In Vodafone, it is very important to look at the scalability, because all these services, keep in mind that we offer them across 8 different markets already. And it is true that each country may have differences in the type of data, and also sometimes in terms of the platforms, even though now we have all embarked in a journey to move all our data into Google Cloud. Google has become our great partner, same as Carto, for instance, is a great partner in our visualization and LI journey. Then finally, clients usually they ask the results either usually in a data format. So companies are becoming more and more mature, and they basically want the aggregated data. Even public administration is investing a lot in creating their own platforms. So they mainly ask for the aggregated data. It is true that many others want an end-to-end, let's say, solution, and that's why working with partners like Carto, we can provide those type of dashboards and that type of intelligence. And we're also looking at APIs, but mainly related to real-time mobility insights. Real-time is the great evolution that we're heading to, because it's going to have a really big impact in how, for instance, city operations, city councils, they understand traffic, they understand mobility, and they can make informed decisions near real-time. So in summary, if you look at all this, what can we do? So basically, we can provide sets of data and sets of visualization services to help companies understand the mobility and the location insights that they need to make better decisions. Examples like estimating total people in a specific location. We extrapolate to total population, which is something all telcos can do, because we usually have a good representation, statistically speaking. We can apply segmentations based on nationality, home location, digital behavior, economic proxy, also based on third-party data and others. We can analyze all mobility patterns that you can think of. I'll show you now a bunch of examples so you can see the type of clients and companies that we're working with. Analyzing individual events. So we could analyze, as I was saying, the UEFA Champions League final that, for instance, took place in Madrid about 3 years ago with 2 UK teams, Tottenham and Liverpool. We analyzed the impact of that event, how many people came, what did they do, where did they stay at night, how much fun they had. No, I wish I could, but anyway, we did a lot of analysis and it was really interesting. Or Mobile World Congress, for instance, in Barcelona. We know how many people come, where do they come from, how long they stay, and then if you apply, let's say, average spend amounts, you can calculate also how much money they leave in the city. And in summary, we can also bring as well external data sources to complement all this type of analysis. When you try to classify all these sets of services in what we do, basically we do a lot of work on the media vertical, including in both digital advertising and out of home. I guess you all know that cookies are disappearing, so in the digital ecosystem, in the digital world, companies are starting to look into not only using individual data, but also using aggregated geographical insights. And also in out-of-home advertising, we can track the performance of every single billboard in any location, and we can also therefore measure the impact of any campaign that has run over a period of time. We do a lot of work on retail and tourism. We can track visits into any specific location. Some of you will say telco data, the granularity can only go to maybe 200 meters. In reality now we are approximately on about 40, 50 meters, and we are looking at taking that down. So we can calculate the number of visits into a store, a commercial mall, or any other place. Tourism is a really important vertical for us. We work with almost lots of different public administration, and it's usually public because public tenders become official. And in this case, we work with the likes of Barcelona, Milan, Sardinia, Lisbon, and plenty others in this type of services. Financial is another vertical that is quite interesting that we started working on this quite recently. For instance, banks, as you will see now in an example, can use geographical data to understand where to open new ATMs, or also to enrich the risk models that they build, combining the data at the home location level and enriching with lots of different attributes. Then on energy is quite interesting. We do a lot of work with energy companies. So understanding mobility, you can also optimize the street lighting. So when you're walking on the streets or going by your cars, that intelligence and basically how the street lighting can be turned on or turned off, we can use this type of data to optimize the lighting curves, reduce the spend without affecting our citizens' experience. So we do a lot of work in this space, and it's quite interesting, also analytically speaking. And then I would say that government and transportation are another set of examples. In transportation, for instance, we work also with partners like Nomon, that I think they are around here, really strong on transport. In government and in health, we do a huge amount of work with city councils, ministries, and other organizations. So in summary, these are all the set of use cases that we are working on these days. And now let me give you a few examples. I think I have a few more minutes, and then I'll finish. Out-of-home advertising is very powerful. With our data services, we're working with some of the largest companies in the world in two main activities. Estimating the performance of every single billboard due to the fact that we can take granularity down to 50 meters, and also understanding the performance of every campaign. So imagine Coca-Cola says, I'm running a campaign with you in these 18,000 billboards during these 8 days. We can measure the exact impact of that campaign. So really powerful solution that we are providing at scale. Digital audiences, super powerful use case as well. How we're changing how DSPs and DMP platforms in the digital ecosystem can use our aggregated data to basically increase the value of every single bid that happens real time, because they are targeting the right audience. So really powerful, and also based on the fact that cookies are coming to an end. Smart lighting, as I mentioned, quite powerful as well, saving energy spend, which is a global commitment, as you all know, and at the same time using our type of mobility data and understanding as well how people move. If they move by foot or by car, obviously that makes a difference. So we can also save that spend without affecting people's experience. Enriching risk scoring, this was honestly one of the use cases that we started working with a major bank, exploring if this was useful or not. The results are quite powerful in the sense that the risk models can improve between a 5 and a 10% based on this type of data. So it's basically at home location level enriching their input data sets with a lot of digital and socioeconomic information that we can generate aggregatedly. Analyzing particular events is quite powerful as well. In fact, we do this sometimes combined with our IoT solutions. We analyzed the music TV, the MTV Awards in Bilbao a couple of years ago, analyzing even in real time a lot of different KPIs as well to ensure that the experience that people were having was superb, and understanding, for instance, number of people on each location in the venue, if the bathrooms could be under high occupancy, so they could also go and say, people, maybe you have another set of toilets in, I don't know, in 50 meters from here. So basically ensuring security and protecting people and giving them the best experience. And the good thing is that we can do all this even being recognized by the International Association of Privacy Professionals, which I think is a really powerful message, saying that we are monetizing data, but we are not selling only data. We are providing data services with a set of, let's say, safeguards, and all the guidelines that we get from privacy are applying how we solve all these use cases. And we were recognized a few years ago by the IAPP about how we basically do this type of services. So thank you very much. I hope that you got a flavor of the type of services that we can provide and the use cases. And there is still a much more set of use cases coming up in the near future. Thank you so much.